Collecting artworks can bring immense joy and deep satisfaction, whether through the thrill of discovering new artists or simply the pleasure of surrounding oneself with beauty. It was with this joy and enthusiasm that the guest, together with her husband, purchased this collection of prints at an auction.
I actually went to an auction here in Louisville and walked through and saw the prints that we liked, and I left the bidding up to him, and he came home with these.
So you bought them all at one auction?
Yes.
And what'd you pay for them?
Between $500 to $1,000 for each one. I think this was the least expensive, and that was the most expensive.
What makes this collection particularly fascinating is its mixed nature, combining the affordability of reproductions with the uniqueness and prestige of original works. Each piece tells its own story and adds a distinct layer to the collection as a whole. The first print is a reproduction of a self-portrait by Rembrandt, the Dutch master who lived during the 17th century and is celebrated as one of the greatest painters, draftsmen, and printmakers in history. His works, especially his self-portraits, provide profound insights into the human condition, capturing both vulnerability and dignity. Next is an original color lithograph by Marc Chagall, the Russian-French-Jewish artist known for his poetic and dreamlike imagery. Chagall's works often blend elements of modernism with folk traditions, producing compositions filled with romance, spirituality, and whimsy. The guest also holds a reproduction of a pastel drawing by Edgar Degas, the celebrated French impressionist. Degas was admired for his ability to capture fleeting moments of everyday life with remarkable sensitivity, particularly in his depictions of dancers, bathers, and intimate domestic scenes. Among these varied works, the most valuable piece is an original etching by Renoir titled Le Chapeau Épinglé, which translates to the pinned hat. This etching is a delicate and intimate study of two young women adjusting a hat, a subject that Renoir revisited in several works. In terms of value, the reproductions, such as the self-portrait of Rembrandt, the pastel drawing by Degas, and the beach scene by Renoir would command modest prices of
maybe $50, $100 a piece. So
The original color lithograph by Chagall, however, would fetch a more significant sum of
$100 to $700 at auction.
Okay.
Finally, Renoir's original etching Le Chapeau Épinglé stands out as the crown jewel of this collection, commanding the highest value at auction of
$4,000 to $6,000, towards the high side for that. So $4,000 to $6,000.
Okay.
In the early 19th century, needlework was more than just practice. It was memory, art, and a deeply personal way of honoring the past. From this tradition comes a remarkable piece, a Mary Balch school mourning picture, lovingly preserved and passed down through generations in the family of this guest.
It was a piece that hung in my grandmother's dining room, hung in my mother's dining room, now hangs in my dining room. I don't really know where the piece came from. It's one of a few that we have.
The Mary Balch School, located in Providence, Rhode Island, was a distinguished private all-girls school renowned for its elegant and distinctive style of needlepoint samplers. Founded in the late 18th century by Sarah Balch and her daughter Mary Balch, the school thrived into the early 19th century, producing works that have since become highly prized examples of American folk art. This mourning picture is a striking example of that legacy. Such pieces were traditionally made by students to commemorate deceased loved ones. Blending technical skill with heartfelt emotional expression, they were not only exercises in embroidery, but also deeply personal keepsakes, meant to preserve memory in a tangible form. Among the remarkable features of this work is its original glass mat, painted on the reverse in the delicate technique known as églomysé. This rare detail highlights both the creativity of the students and the refined artistry encouraged at the school. Equally captivating is the needlework itself, executed in the exquisite silk-on-silk technique. Enhanced with chenille motifs, the embroidery displays breathtaking depth and texture.
And if you look down here, it looks like the surface of a caterpillar's skin. It is what is known as a mourning picture, and these were done when somebody died, and it was a memorial to them. So I think
the choice of materials and the fineness of the stitches demonstrate both mastery of skill and an acute sensitivity to beauty and detail. The piece remains in its original frame, further adding to its authenticity and historical value. Together, the églomysé mat, the silk-on-silk craftsmanship, and the original frame elevate this mourning picture beyond a simple memorial into a treasured work of art. At auction, a Mary Balch school mourning picture of this quality and preservation is expected to command a strong value of,
Well, it has a retail value of between $20,000 and $30,000.
Wow.
Because of its all original condition.
At the turn of the 19th century, homes were adorned with handcrafted furniture that seamlessly blended beauty with utility. Among these treasured pieces is the Kentucky cherry sugar chest, crafted around 1800. A striking example of both function and artistry. Remarkably, this chest is believed to have been made by an ancestor of the guest who brought it in, adding a layer of personal and historical significance to the piece.
I've been told that this chest is from Fort Herod, Harrodsburg, Kentucky, and was built by my great-grandfather, 7th or 8th generation, I'm not exactly sure. And he was a furniture maker in Fort Herod, and he was the husband of Anne Kennedy Pogue, who was supposedly the first female settler in Kentucky.
Its tapered legs further helped to anchor the era of its construction to the period following Kentucky's statehood, proving insight into both its style and provenance. During this time, sugar chests were essential household furnishings, designed to store spices and other valuable commodities. They often featured compartments and drawers for organized storage, reflecting the practical needs of daily life. This particular chest boasts 3 distinct compartments, a design feature popular throughout the late 18th and early 19th centuries.
What you notice here are 3 compartments. And the one thing we've discovered from inventories of households is that in general, these 3 sections would hold white cone sugar, brown granulated sugar, and then unroasted coffee.
Okay.
And these were 3 of the most expensive condiments in the American home at that time.
The chest also incorporates locks, a functional element used to safeguard its precious contents. Upon closer inspection, the piece reveals shades cast by wrought iron hinges, which show the wear of time and testify to the chest's enduring presence through generations. At auction, this exceptional Kentucky cherry sugar chest is expected to command a conservative yet impressive price of.
Retail estimate would be about $8,000 to $10,000
Wow.
today.
Picture a concert in 1971 with lights flashing and music soaring, the Rickenbacker light show guitar at the very heart of that spectacle. This remarkable instrument was purchased by the husband of the guest in 1977. Adding a personal connection to its storied history.
It belongs to my husband. He got it back right out of high school in 1977.
He made you schlep this guitar
He
down
made
from
me
where?
schlep it from Peoria, Illinois.
Crafted by Rickenbacker, the renowned American manufacturer of electric guitars and basses founded in 1931 by Adolf Rickenbacker and George Beauchamp, this guitar amplifies both innovation and artistry. Rickenbacker instruments are celebrated for their bright, jangly tone, which has become iconic in rock music. Introduced in 1971, this particular model, the 331 Light Show guitar, combines cutting-edge design with functional spectacle. Its semi-hollow body features clear lucite panels embedded with colored lights that illuminate in response to the vibrations of the strings, creating a mesmerizing light display as the instrument is played, earning it the nickname Light Show guitar.
That when you play it, it lights up.
Right.
Now, what's rare about these is that the generator that runs these lights is still effective.
Beyond its visual appeal, this guitar holds a significant place in music history. Legendary artists such as Roger McGuinn of the Byrds have been known to use this model, cementing its iconic status among collectors and musicians alike. At auction, this fascinating and historically significant Rickenbacker guitar is expected to command an insurance value of.
Insurance value on this guitar, $20,000.
You kidding me? Oh my gosh.
Displayed here is a truly enchanting piece of art, a treasured family heirloom passed down from the guest's stepfather.
The girl is me at age 5, and the little boy in the pseudo spacesuit was a young neighbor, and we were posing for my stepfather, John Falter.
Titled Listening to the Sea, this illustration perfectly captures a quiet, tender moment of childhood, showcasing John Philip Falter's extraordinary talent for storytelling through imagery. In the scene, a young girl leans in, listening intently, while a boy observes beside her, embodying the innocence, curiosity, and warmth of family life during that era. Every detail in this work reflects Falter's masterful eye, The subtle play of light across the children's faces, and the gentle movement of hair all combine to create an intimate, almost cinematic atmosphere. John Philip Falter was one of America's most celebrated illustrators, best known for creating 129 iconic covers for the Saturday Evening Post. This particular illustration graced the cover of the magazine on July 21, 1956, and a copy of that issue is on display to authenticate the piece. Interestingly, Falter painted this work in his studio, yet allowed himself artistic freedom in the background, blending reality with his imaginative vision to enhance the narrative. His work is renowned for its nostalgic and sentimental charm, capturing idyllic snapshots of mid-20th century American life with warmth and precision. Falter's remarkable contributions to the field were recognized with his induction to the Illustrators Hall of Fame in 1976, and his membership in the National Academy of Western Art in 1978. This illustration not only delights the eye, but also serves as a historical testament to Falter's ability to celebrate everyday life with elegance and emotion. At auction, this evocative and historically significant piece is expected to command a note.
You put at least $175,000 on it.
Okay. Thank you.
In the late 19th century, dolls were more than mere toys. They were intricate works of art, cherished by children and collectors alike. This exquisite Jumeau portrait doll, created around 1876, perfectly embodies that era's elegance and craftsmanship. Interestingly, it was given as a gift to the guest by an elderly woman, adding a layer of personal history to its appeal.
A woman in her early 90s, and it was given to her by another woman that originally owned the doll. She was going into a nursing home, and she asked me if I knew a little girl that would like to have a doll, and I said, yes, I've got a daughter that's about 4 years old, and so she gave it to me. And
Jumeau portrait dolls were produced by the renowned French company Maison Jumeau, founded by Pierre-François Jumeau in the early 1840s. These dolls are celebrated for their high-quality bisque heads, finely detailed figures, and realistic expressions that captured the fashion and aesthetics of the time. The doll is adorned with luxurious materials, with every element remaining original to the period except for the hair on its head.
But if you do this, you find there's her original wig, which is made out of sheepskin, which you can see is worn. And it would have been a little frizzier, like sticking out a little bit more, but you really wouldn't do anything to it.
Its jointed composition body allows for various poses and movements, a signature feature of Jumeau dolls that demonstrates their functional elegance. Notably, every detail, from the delicately painted lips to the finely rendered eyelashes and eyebrows, reflects the meticulous craftsmanship of the Jumeau artisans, making this doll a unique masterpiece. This particular example is a remarkable testament to the artistry and charm of late 19th century French doll making. At auction, this exceptional Jumeau portrait doll is expected to command a distinguished price of.
Expect to pay retail between $12,000 and $15,000 for her.
Really?
Yeah, really. So now you know who she is.
Sacred objects were often created not only to be admired for their beauty, but also to serve as vessels of deep spiritual meaning. The Sino-Tibetan gilt bronze deity, crafted in the 18th century, reflects this profound union of artistry and devotion through its shimmering golden surface. Interestingly, this sacred piece has been in the family of the guest for many generations, adding both heritage and personal significance to its story.
In my family, as long as I can remember, my parents had it. We lived in Japan, and I don't know anything about it, to be honest.
During the 18th century, Sino-Tibetan gilt bronze deities were regarded as exquisite examples of Buddhist art, celebrated for their intricate craftsmanship and spiritual resonance. These statues often depicted revered Buddhist figures such as Vaishravana, Green Tara, and Hayagriva, and were distinguished by their gilt bronze material, delicate details, and expressive features. This particular image represents Yamantaka, a powerful and significant deity in Tibetan Buddhism, especially within the Gelug tradition. Yamantaka is understood as a wrathful manifestation of Manjushri, the bodhisattva of wisdom, and is often shown with a buffalo head, multiple arms, and a protective, awe-inspiring presence, all of which can be clearly seen in this piece. The shimmering mercury gilt bronze surface gives the work both spiritual radiance and artistic brilliance, while the fine details reflect the mastery of its maker.
They've basically taken gold and mixed it with mercury and then fired it off, so only the gold remains on the surface, and then it's been burnished.
Interestingly, traces of red pigment can still be seen on the figure, believed to have been used to consecrate and dedicate the image for ritual purposes. On the reverse side of the sculpture, another fascinating detail remains visible, offering further evidence of the skill and creativity behind its making.
And did you see the elephant skin on the back?
Yeah. I discover new things each time I look at it, actually. As a child, I didn't really pay much attention to it.
Together, these elements transform the statue into more than just an object. It becomes a bridge between the material and the spiritual worlds. At auction, this remarkable sacred object is expected to command a significant price of.
Conservatively, an auction estimate on this piece would be $6,000 to $8,000.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Conservatively.
my. Oh my.
Imagine a scene where mist curls gently over rolling hills, where soft colors dissolve seamlessly into one another, creating a world both vivid and dreamlike. Such is the atmosphere captured in this watercolor by Percy Gray, a painting that seems to whisper of calm and timeless beauty. This work was inherited by the guest from his father. He was a medical doctor, and it has since remained a treasured part of the family's legacy.
He was a member of one of the men's club there, and the man who ran the dining room, wife got very ill, and it turned out she was dying of cancer, and my father took care of her. And when it was all over, he refused to give the man a bill of any sort, and shortly thereafter, this appeared in my father's office.
Percy Gray was a renowned American artist celebrated for his luminous watercolors of California landscapes. His most admired works often feature eucalyptus trees, oaks, wildflowers, and stretches of land rendered in gentle tonalist tones. While many California painters of his era favored oils, Gray made watercolors his hallmark medium after early experimentation with oils, allowing him to build a unique voice in regional art. Gray's landscapes belong to the tonalist tradition, more subtle and atmospheric than the bold colors of his California Impressionist contemporaries. His brushwork often emphasizes mood, layering translucent washes that invite viewers to step into a quiet, reflective space. From the signature on this particular painting, it is evident that the work dates to after 1910, the period when Gray transitioned from block lettering to a more fluid script signature. This detail helps place the painting within the prime decades of his career, roughly between 1910 and 1950, when he was developing and refining his most consistent body of work. The composition here embodies Gray's mastery of tone and atmosphere, the balance of earth and sky, the soft gradations of light, and the sense of serenity that made his art so enduring. His ability to transform ordinary California hillsides into near-spiritual visions continues to resonate with collectors and admirers of early 20th century American art. At auction, this exquisite watercolor by Percy Gray is expected to bring a value of.
I suspect the estimate would be somewhere in the $10,000 to $15,000 range.
I beg your pardon?
Between $10,000 and $15,000. I hope that's not a disappointment.
The guest brought in an ethereal necklace given to her grandmother by the Emperor of China at the birth of her father. It is a 19th century jadeite, finely clothed with brilliant green that is translucent. The necklace features a nice coral bead, a lovely sequence, and Chinese characters made by Sushi. Sushi was the first member of the emperor family ever to do a public relations campaign with the West. When there was a fallout with the Europeans, her quality pieces for the women were their surviving grace. This jade necklace is of high quality, but not the best jade, and will be estimated at auction for
$30,000 to $50,000.
Oh my gosh, I'm very surprised.
That would surprise me. I wouldn't have thought anything like that.
You might be wondering what's special about this so-called piece of paper. Well, in fact, it's not just a random piece of paper, but an award certificate. This certificate, originally belonging to the guest's grandfather, was issued to an elder called Jacob Gates by his church.
Appears to be almost a thank you certificate or an award from his church members in England.
Upon closer inspection of the certificate, it is ascertained that several groups appreciated Elder Gates for his good works. Also documented on the certificate is the fact that Elder Gates baptized over 400 souls. Done via hand calligraphy on parchment, this certificate is graphically very intriguing. A fair market value for this piece, due to the fact that they don't appear on the market very often, would be
$10,000 to $15,000.
That would surprise me. I wouldn't have thought anything like that.
The guest's father was the last original Cleveland Brown to retire after a long career from 1946 to 1968. He was known as Lou Gauza and was a great football kicker named in the Hall of Fame. The NCAA has an award named after him as the top kicker of the year. Before his death at the age of 76, he had an insurance company which he managed alongside his football career. The guest brought one of his football jerseys, one of his sideline jackets, and the first championship ring Lou received in the 19th century. Also, he brought a picture showing the ring on his father's finger while holding him up. Lou Gauza was part of the A-Champions team because his team, the Browns, won 4 championships in a row and competed in the NFL as a member club of the American Football Conference, AFC. All these items are to be insured. The sideline jacket should be insured for $5,000 and the jersey for $10,000. However, the ring, which is a masterpiece, should be insured for $45,000, bringing it to a total value of
around $60,000.
Okay. Wonderful.
What we have here is an extraordinary piece from the late 19th century in the form of a convertible bathtub encased in an East Lake-style chestnut cabinet. This piece is complete with incised flower heads and reeded pilasters. This intriguing piece is not just a relic of Victorian ingenuity, but a rare find that even seasoned appraisers have rarely encountered.
Where did you find this bathtub? I bought this in Valley City, North Dakota about 2 years ago.
The bathtub itself is a testament to the inventive spirit of the era, akin to the space-saving Murphy beds of the same period. Ingeniously designed to fold away into a stylish cabinet, it features an improved bath heater system.
I mean, you can have thousands of people in one town and there'd be one bathtub. So this is pretty amazing that this one survived. It would have been made for probably a wealthy family.
Given that this convertible bathtub showcases the evolving history of hygiene, it will auction for
$3,500. And what'd you pay for it? $2,500. Good for you. Good job.
The guest brought in 2 fine pieces of art, a pitcher and a plate, for appraisal. These are Picasso ceramics made in 1946 when Picasso was in residence in the south of France. He made thousands of pieces within 24 years using motifs in ceramic. However, out of the over 3,500 pieces he made, 600 were picked and additions were made, from which these pitcher and plate came. The pitcher and plate were made in 1954 and 1955, respectively. Furthermore, the pitcher has a beautifully designed body, and at the bottom is a mark and signature. But there are noticeable chips at the edges of the pitcher. Therefore, it would sell at $5,000 to $7,000 at an auction. However, the plate is in good condition and has the same mark and signature as the pitcher, and at an auction would be worth
$12,000 and $15,000.
Oh, that's interesting. I would have thought the pitcher would have brought more.
This guest is on the show with a beautiful necklace for appraisal. The piece was made by Trevor Arthur and Mobsons, and was later acquired by a French company. They designed much jewelry, especially for movie stars, and called them reflections. But the necklace had diminished in value because it's been repolished and would only be worth around $1,000 to $1,500. The other piece is a beautiful ballerina brooch by Van Cleef & Arpels in New York. It features a rose-cut diamond head, and its body is made of diamond and sapphire, purely glazed. At the back is a signature, so at an auction, this piece would fetch
How's $8,000 to $10,000? Sounds pretty good.
The guest brought in a mysterious box bearing a plaster head with human eyelashes and a strange-looking human hand. Willie Sutton was a famous bank-armed robber always in and out of prison, and these were what he used in an attempted breakout. History had it that he robbed over 100 banks and escaped from prison 3 times, and he used this dummy head and hand. The prison was run by the guest's grandfather, who kept the box in Camp Hill Prison until he retired after Sutton was released. Sutton made the dummy with human hair from a barber shop, and the same with the eyelashes, even though how he got the pigment is not known. In August of 1941, the escape attempt happened, but he later escaped and became the 11th person to be added to the FBI's most wanted list in 1950. Most of the escape tools used by prisoners are usually owned by the prison or prison museums, hence do not come up on auction tables. However, without the box and the provenance of the label on the box, it is just a head. So a conservative estimate at auction would be
of $2,500 to $3,500. Wow, that's nice.
The guest brought in a fantastic-looking clothes dresser from about 30 years ago. With beautiful woodwork designs on the door, this old clothes dresser was used for keeping linens, blouses, and trousers in the 17th century. Since more value is placed on such items if they are American instead of British, it's important to find out if this clothes dresser is American. Firstly, the side wood fringe along the top is hardly seen in American pieces. Secondly, looking inside the cross-border drawers, the size is thin and made of English oak from the Georgian period. Also, there are screws at the edges, and the door, when opened, reveals shelves that can be pulled out easily. At the back, braces and light holes show classic British furniture. Though the design is wonderful with a great patina and wood finish, because it is not American, the value at auction would probably be around
$12,000 to $18,000. Wow. That's a good increase.
Great investment.
The guest brought in a blanket chest that her grandparents used for keeping rugs for appraisal. The design showcases Spanish colonial influence from the southwestern American parts. Cabinet makers in this area used local wood, Panda rose pine, to make furniture because hardwood didn't grow there. This piece is decorated with iconography, perhaps with some local characteristics like clouds or fishes. Hence, the starfish carving designs on the body of this furniture. It was made in the 19th century when iron was very expensive in the region, so they did not use nails, but instead put the chest together with modern synthetic construction. With pegs or pins, they held the joints together, but pieces of iron were used for the clasps and hinges, which a blacksmith would have had to make. This kind of furniture is rare in the market and has a conservative estimate of
$3,000 to $5,000.
That's nice.
This guest brought a painting that used to be in his grandmother's house. It is from the 40s and the artist's name is J. Clinton Shepard. Shepard was an illustrator and this was one of his best paintings. The painting looks scary as it features a hunter with his gun, sturdy boots, and headlights. At an auction, a reasonable estimate for this painting would be
between $5,000 and $7,000.
Okay, great.
The guest bought this print at an auction for $15 and has kept it rolled up in his house. There is a noticeable flaking at the edges of the print, which is why it has been rolled up for a long time. Made from different sheets and printed on different sheets of paper, the print is then mounted on linen and hung on a stand. It was done by William Strang in 1899 and was commissioned from Strang by the Artful School Association. The school produced prints that were sold to raise money for the school. It is done as an art and crafts style, but the condition issues would be expensive to fix. Once fixed, a retail value would be around
For about $1,500.
This guest brought in a bat buckle she purchased in Pennsylvania for appraisal. The stones are considered as paste, and it is a belt and sash buckle. It was made between 1900 to 1915 in the German-Austrian style known as Jugendstil, meaning youth style. Furthermore, it is made of German metal, which is a mixture of nickel, zinc, and copper. Also, the stones are early rhinestones. This old piece, bought at $20 by the guest, would at an auction be estimated at
$400 to $500.
Wow.
A pyrographic blanket closet, a unique piece of folk art, was brought in by the guest. It was created using pyrography, a technique of burning designs onto wood with a heated metal tip. The wooden cabinet itself is likely Western red cedar, dating back to the late 1800s to early 1900s based on the hardware and construction style. However, the stunning Art Nouveau design on the pyrography artwork itself pointed to a creation date of around 1910 to 1915. The most captivating aspect of the artwork was the imagery. 10 panels featuring 7 winged babies, possibly representing deceased children, some with faint names inscribed on their foreheads. It was wondered if these were the artist's own children and if the artwork served as a personal story. The piece also held a sense of mystery. 2 of the children's figures had their outlines burned, but details like hair and eyebrows only penciled in, unfinished. This raises the speculation that the artist might have passed away before completing the work. The guest had purchased the piece for $300 in 1987 and never had it appraised. Due to the artwork's uniqueness and artistry, its auction value is
to $12,000.
But retail could go as high as
$15,000 to $20,000.
That's great.
a beautiful mesh purse, a treasured heirloom inherited from their grandmother who lived in New York City, was brought in by the guest. The guest's mother used to call it a mad money purse, likely a place to stash some secret spending money. The purse is a 14-karat yellow gold change purse from the late 1890s, likely part of the Gilded Age or late Victorian era. These purses were popular at the time, but this particular example was in excellent condition, with the intricate mesh intact and the clasp mechanism functional, uncommon for such vintage purses. The most striking feature was a large 10-karat amethyst stone adorning the top. The amethyst, a beautiful violet gemstone, added a touch of luxury to the purse. The purse also had a hallmark identifying the maker as Carter Go Company, a renowned jeweler from Newark, New Jersey. Carter Go Company was a well-respected firm that produced high-quality jewelry during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Having a hallmark from this prestigious maker added significantly to the purse's value. Considering the gold content, excellent condition, and prestigious maker, the estimated retail value of the purse is
$5,000 and $7,000.
Wow. Hoo-ha.
This unique heirloom, a book-form watch, has been in the family for 5 or 6 generations, dating back to their great-great-great-grandmother, who was from France. The watch is a type from around 1860, featuring a compartment that could hold not just one photograph, but a small family portrait with spaces for 3 pictures. This personalization added sentimental value to the watch beyond its mechanical function of keeping time. Based on the watch's condition, in its current state, it's estimated to be worth
$4,000 to $6,000 at a show.
Interestingly, if restored professionally, it could be worth as much as
$6,000 to $8,000.
Take a look at this delightful Tiffany Studios table that was passed down to this guest by her great-grandfather. Accompanying this lamp is a photograph showing the lamp in the interior of the house. This lamp features a Moorish pattern characterized by intricate geometric designs, which usually showcase complex patterns carved or etched into materials, like brass, creating a stunning visual effect. What is unique about this lamp is that it has all its parts intact, which is quite unusual. The prism is reinforced in such a way that it doesn't fall off, which makes it more valuable.
Whereas the other prisms I've seen are usually hooked very flimsily on a little S-hook, and that it explains why they're all gone.
Well preserved and in pristine condition, this Tiffany Studios table lamp will fetch
$25,000 to $35,000.
Great. That's wonderful.
Bronze statue received as a gift from a dear friend who had recently passed away was brought in by the guest. Though this friend had acquired the piece in China, it is revealed that it was actually a Japanese masterpiece from the Meiji period, a golden age for bronze production in Japan. Unlike typical Chinese bronzes featuring gods and warriors, this statue depicted a serene Japanese fisherman with a fish triumphantly dangling from his line, reflecting the Japanese aesthetic preference for everyday subjects. The exquisite detail extended to the 24-karat gold trim, making it a highly valuable parcel-gilt bronze. An inscription hidden on the statue's base provided the key to its origin: the Miao family, a renowned bronze maker dynasty in Japan. This prestigious maker's mark, along with the statue's condition, significantly boosted its value. The statue wasn't just a decorative piece, it was a testament to the artistry of the Meiji period and a valuable heirloom for the guest. Despite a slight dip in the market, the estimated value of the statue is
$3,000 to $5,000 estimate for its sale.
Wonderful.
A guest shared a fascinating family heirloom known as the Tiffany pitcher, dating back to the 1850s. This exquisite piece was presented to his great-great-grandfather, who was a mate on the riverboat Nominee. When a child fell overboard on a charter boat, the guest's great-great-grandfather heroically saved him, and as a reward, the passengers collected money and commissioned Tiffany & Company as a token of their gratitude. The appraiser praised the documentation of the piece's history, noting it as one of the most interesting examples of presentation silver. Typically, such items are awarded for sports events, retirements, or marriages. but a life-saving act makes this picture a unique trophy. The intricate repose chased scene depicted the dramatic rescue, complete with a depiction of the steamboat nominee and its name engraved on the wheel, adding to its romantic and historical allure. The front of the picture features an inscription with the date and the name of the boy who was saved, enhancing its provenance. This piece held significant interest for collectors of rare American silver, particularly those with a focus on Tiffany silver and early American craftsmanship. Despite some damage, including a bent foot and lead obscuring the maker's mark, the appraiser confirmed its authenticity due to the well-documented history and photographs in a family book. Initially estimated at $4,000 to $5,000, the appraiser suggested that with professional restoration and careful polishing, the value could increase to
$5,000 to $7,000, perhaps even as much as $8,000.
Wonderful.
The guest clutched a beautiful doll in their hands, a lucky find from a local thrift store for a mere $15. Tucked with the doll was a charming note, a handwritten story attributing the doll to a Native American chief's wife who crafted it in 1885 for a doctor's wife. While the note is intriguing, some details were likely embellished. However, the note did hold significance and offered clues to the doll's origin. Upon closer inspection, the doll is identified as a representation of the Brule Sioux woman, a tribe from the Dakotas. The doll's exquisite craftsmanship made this pretty obvious. The intricate beadwork, the details on the moccasins, and the traditional clothing all pointed towards a depiction of a high-status woman within the Brule Sioux community. But the most surprising aspect of the doll was its condition. It appeared almost untouched by time, with clean materials and vibrant colors. This is attributed to careful storage over the years, suggesting the doll had been treasured by its previous owners. Dating the doll to the early 1880s, the piece holds historical significance, particularly when considering the note's context. The combination of the doll's quality, age, and potential connection to a bygone era within the Brule Sioux tribe made it a highly valuable collector's item. Taking all these factors into account, the estimated worth of the doll at auction is,
I think you're talking $3,500 to $4,500 if the doll came up at auction.
Really?
It's a great thing.
We have here a beautiful rookwood pottery piece inherited from the guest's father-in-law. She had always admired it, but knew little about its history or value. It is a rare and valuable piece, a rookwood pottery jug with a silver overlay by Gorham Manufacturing. The rookwood pottery itself was decorated with a hand-painted picture, likely by artist Harriet Wilcox, who was known for her whimsical designs. Uniquely, the silver overlay actually complemented and framed the artwork, showcasing a respectful collaboration between the pottery artist and the silversmith. Several factors contributed to the piece's value. The use of a renowned pottery artist like Wilcox and a prestigious silversmith like Gorham was significant. The early period of the Gorham overlay added value as well. The excellent condition of the pottery, free of cracks or crazing, was another positive aspect. The only drawback identified was a hairline crack, which unfortunately detracted slightly from the value. Despite this, the estimated auction value of the piece is
Between $3,000 and $4,000.
You're kidding.
No. And,
Oh my gosh.
and were it not for the tight hairline, I would have said $4,000 to $6,000.
a beautiful silver bowl. A collaborative design rich in both sentimental and artistic value was brought in by the guest. It commemorated the guest's service at the Rochester Institute of Technology and served as a unique reminder of their collaboration with Hans Christensen, a renowned silversmith. It is the work of Hans Christensen, a respected artist who had apprenticed under the legendary George Jensen. Christensen's background lent the bowl immediate prestige, but its true beauty lay in its design. The piece perfectly captured the essence of the 1970s aesthetic, a style that was experiencing a significant revival among collectors, especially those with fond memories of the era. Beyond its visual appeal, the bowl showcased exceptional craftsmanship. The hand-hammered texture and the organic uneven rim distinguished it as a one-of-a-kind piece, a stark contrast of mass-produced items. This emphasis on handcrafted artistry resonated with modern collectors who increasingly sought out pieces that told a story and highlighted the skills of the maker. Considering the confluence of factors, Hans Christensen's artistry, the resurgent popularity of 1970s designs, and the bowl's handcrafted quality, The estimated auction value is
$2,000 to $4,000 and could perhaps exceed that.
Yeah, that's great.
This bronze statue of Osiris, the Egyptian god of the underworld, was purchased by the guest's mother at an auction in England. It also came with a certificate linking it to the famed Karnak temple. The statue is a depiction of Osiris, complete with his characteristic symbols, the flail and the crook, and the white crown. Its age is around 300 BC, placing it in the late period of ancient Egypt. The statue was likely placed in a tomb to assist the deceased in the afterlife. While the statue held historical significance, it had some condition issues. The most concerning was bronze disease, a green and white corrosion that could damage the statue. While the guest has grown fond of the patina, there is need for professional restoration to prevent further deterioration. If the statue were in perfect condition, it would be worth $3,000 to $4,000, but in its current condition, it is worth
$2,000. Thank you.
The guest's mother bought a Georgian or Chippendale mahogany architect's table 25 to 30 years ago in New York, using it to prop up books. The appraiser demonstrated its features, including a lifting surface for oversized books or drawings, a pull-out and lift-up drawing or writing surface, and a storage compartment. It also has a candle slide and an inkwell. Despite some well-done restorations, such as replaced brass and a spliced edge, the table was valued at
$5,000 to $6,000 range. Guess I ought to get it insured.
A glance at this masterpiece of painting, and it could become your favorite. This item is an oil painting on canvas, and it is unframed. It beautifully depicts a cavalryman from the Napoleonic Wars in France. As ravishing as this painting is, however, it is a copy of an original done by Theodore Géricault. The painting is finished well, which suggests it is copied by another master painter.
Now, I think your painting could be as new as 1970, 1980. It's really done with pretty meticulous detail.
It's likely the painting was done as a sort of homage to Theodore, and it would be a great collection for many who love antique paintings or their copies. This painting, with all its allure, would fetch an auction price of
maybe $100, maybe a couple $100.